Welcome to episode 2 of the Dante Diaries, a companion podcast to My Blood the Ink. Written and directed by Jay Cottle. My name is Taniqua, a lover of storytelling of all kinds and a president of the author Jay Cottle's fan club, and Akeem's Alchemy. On today's episode, we will...
Sorry.
You're welcome. On today's episode, we will be discussing episode 2, The Tenderness of Drowning. Joining us today, as always, is the mastermind himself, author and director Jay Cottle, and genius music composer of all the music and leitmotifs you heard for our characters, and just throughout the episodes, Miguel Landestoy. Welcome, per usual, gentleman. Hey. This episode, honestly, sonically was beautiful. And it feels like such a full circle moment just behind the scenes. The sound design was crazy. Shout out to the sound design team. And it just like truly like from the jump from the spider's introduction came in swinging. Super quick recap. Episode 2 begins very flirtatious, as is such for a southern gentleman like Dante. We find Dante on an errand for his dad, who in my mind is actually Ron Cephas Jones. Like that's who I think he is.
Okay.
I don't, whatever. To retrieve dock receipts from the shipyard. After learning of a new ship, he decides it's time to begin his own journey. Fast forward, Dante finds himself on a sinking ship with only the spirits and his thoughts for company. Sinking, swimming, fighting, trying? Yeah, that's for Dante to decide. But never forget, he is the he is the grandson of Queen Mother Denai, who always has a trick up their sleeve. So first question, are you kidding me? That's literally what I wrote down. That was my first question, because I was like, the sound design for this episode, crazy. Absolutely crazy. What did you guys think?
So I actually helped with the sound design for this episode, and so this was me cosplaying as a sound designer, and it was a lot of like just finding the sounds is hard because you got to think like what's the thing, and so there were a lot of layers of just like random wood creak and like glass shatter and mechanical metal groan, and then just like layering all like 20 of those in a way that makes sense. A fun behind the scenes fact. So there's a chunk where the crew is just, fighting for their lives, screaming, doing all those things. And we improvised all of that, myself and the Sovereigns, and so hard to keep it together. I was randomly doing the Lord's Prayer in a German accent in there. We had Deshaun, who was just yelling random technical ship terms, lots of just like screaming. So it was really fun, and to like actually hear that turn into an effective moment was really fun. So yeah.
I know Jasmine as one of my best friends. I know her voice, and whatever she was screaming was so random. And I was like, I know this is a serious moment, but I was cackling because I was like, what's in the actual heck? That was actually one of my questions. Is to kind of get like into the weeds of it. So they are in the description of the episode the sea, but are they the sea or are they sea spirits? Like, who are they? Uh-oh. I asked a good question.
You did. In the next episode, you are going to meet a group. And that group, in a lot of ways... I'll answer this next week. I'm going to answer that question.
Okay.
So that I don't give away next week. Yeah.
Okay.
But I would say to literally answer your question, the sea.
Okay, the sea. Okay. And then it says that there are additional voices. Any spoilers on who the additional voices are? Like, could you share?
They were the additional voices. So they were, that's like the crew stuff. So,
got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were doing double duty over there. And technically me, because with my German sailor. Yeah.
I read it as like the sea and there are additional voices. I was like, who's secretly on this episode? Who's there? Just like me in my full auntie mode, Why would you get on a boat in the middle of the sea that's never been out on the sea before and not tell nobody? It's just the hubris,
Yeah.
to me, was crazy.
Yeah. I think Dante wanted adventure, and Dante in some ways is very similar to me. And when I started writing, I had to like really think of how can I make him different? Like how can I find ways to just do things that I would never do, say things I would never say. And I'm a very cautious person. I would never do what he did. I think there's a sense of recklessness that Dante has, which is also paired with his youth. He's just young. And so a lot of the times when I'm trying to kind of separate us out, there's for sure this more rash, reckless version of Dante that exists. I would also add that like he comes from a shipping family, so like he kind of knows his way around, and there's some, you know what I mean. It's not as like if a layman were to do it, but yeah, still dumb, still a little reckless, and yeah, yeah.
Okay. Because my follow up question was, is that like you, or are you living vicariously through Dante? So clearly vicariously. Yeah.
He's teaching me bravery.
Oh, that comes up a lot in this episode for many reasons. But one of the things that I really loved is that to me this is certainly like the beginning of the story. Like this is everything else was a prequel. This is the beginning, and it's wild because Miguel was there. I remember when you read the first draft of this at the production debut party, and I was like, it is crazy to hear how it evolved because it was powerful then, but now it's like become this huge cinematic experience. So I'm wondering, how did that evolve? Was it just like through different drafts, or were you with the group and were like, wait a second, let's build this out?
Yeah. This is one of the pieces, as I mentioned last week, this kind of started as a book, and then I had to adapt it part of the way through into a drama. And I want to say that maybe by episode 4, I was writing specifically as a drama. That's like the first unadapted bit. And so you all heard the kind of novel version of this. And in thinking about, well, how do we turn this into a more immersive experience, that's kind of when those changes started. I knew that we needed a little backstory as to why he went on that ship, why a ship would be the way to kind of kickstart that journey. And so and I also wanted to add in that familial element about the shipping company. And so I felt like having him go to the shipyard could kind of two birds, one stone that. And yeah, I'd say that's the bones of kind of why it shifted in that way. Yeah.
Now, speaking of the shipyard, Miss Stacy, okay, the flirting was flirting, okay? And at some point I was like, how old is this woman to be flirting with this kid? But also because I know both of you, I'm like, I literally imagined the two of you recording this, and I started blushing listening to it. So I'm just like, how was that recording it for you?
Yeah. It was fun. Akira, who voices Stacy, and you'll see her again in episode 5 with another one of her characters, is just such a giving, present, energetic actor. And so it's just really fun to play with her in that moment. As I was writing, I was just like, hope this isn't giving statutory. You know what I mean? And so it was like really clear that this is just a big part of Dante's personality. And, that's the boss's son, so she'll play along to a degree, but she's not going to encourage. She's not going to do, it's not real. You know what I mean? It's just, It's just banter.
Right.
So, yeah, but Kira's great, and that was really fun. I think we only did that, like, twice, and we just had it by the second one, and it was just, like, great.
That's crazy.
That sounds about right.
I sometimes wonder, Miguel, how do you feel when you listen to these things in the edit? Because, like,
Yes.
I just...
It's funny. It's always funny because, like, I get, much like Shaniqua, I know y'all. Like,
Right.
I know all these voices. And it's cool. Like, it's because you're also wonderful actors, so I can kind of lose myself a little bit. And, like, I don't know about you, Jay, but, like, I know for me, I had those little moments when I was, like, you're a budding young man and you're in a situation where you're starting to get noticed. And it's playful, but it's also maybe it's not playful, but it's playful.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm remembering a specific little story from when I was a kid in my dad's business, and someone hadn't seen me in a long time. And they're like, "Oh, you're grown," and I'm like, "I don't know what that means." As an adult, I know what that means,
Right.
and it's like, I don't like that. But as a kid, I was like, okay, whatever.
Right.
So yeah, it definitely gave me that feeling. And on the other end of it, Tanika, what you mentioned is so true. Like, this kind of set it off for me, for all of us. But Jay, you were so secretive isn't the word, but you were there's this thing that I'm doing, and I want you to be involved in it, but I don't know if you want me to be involved in it, but also here it is, but also here it's not.
Right.
So to the point where my partner of almost 9 years didn't really know what I was doing that weekend, and I'm like, oh, I have this launch event for this thing that Jay's doing, and they were like, what do you mean? And then I explained it, and the reaction to it was so electric in the room, and I was so stoked and impassioned about it. So it's an interesting thing for this to come up in episode 2, because it really was the start of it for me, and the start of how excited I was, because it started to become real in that moment.
Yeah. I had the exact same experience because, of course, whenever Jay's just I'm going to do a thing, I'm like, all right, how are we doing it? How are we figuring this out? But actually, being in the room and it was basically the experience was we turned the lights off and we had some mood lighting going on. And the sounds of waves in the background, and Jay did a live reading of what was the first iteration of this, and it was so powerful. I was just yeah, this is gonna be a success. Done. I'm all in for that. So,
Yeah, that was also a big deal for me because it was one of the first times I was sharing this version of my artistry with people, writing, and so I just remember being oh boy, if this don't work, I think it's all right, but if they don't think it's all right, I don't know where it's going. And I just said, we're doing a whole thing. Because again, you have to remember that, kind of like what Miguel said, everyone I'm beyond blessed. A lot of people said yes, sight unseen. No script, no nothing. It was just okay. And I was just I appreciate that. And also, what if I'm horrible? You know what I mean? And so that moment was really powerful, really affirming, and there was for sure an energy in the room around that. So I was very happy that it worked, because also this piece thematically, it's a little it's a little tough. You know what I mean? And my goal as an artist is to move people, and this particular piece is very, I don't want to say preachy, but I feel the intent behind it is very obvious, and it speaks very specifically to a theme, and again, to have that be effective was great.
no, it was beautiful. And one of the things that I noticed about this section is outside of the intro and the outro, there wasn't a lot of music. And so one of the things that I love is, man, I can't remember which Star Wars movie it was, but the one where we thought that Princess Leia was going to die and get sucked out of the ship, and it's just silence. And you realize that, the silence then becomes another character within the story. And to me, that felt super poignant in this episode, because it was Dante, his thoughts. I almost said you. It was Dante, his thoughts, the silence, which was so loud when it was loud, and the waves crashing. And so I'm wondering, was that intentional? Were you guys just nope, we need silence for this? Or, what were you thinking, Miguel, when you were listening back and trying to figure out, what to do sonically?
This is one of those things where a bit of reality also just hits with the artistic need and moment. Honestly, we had some thoughts on some sound in different places, some music, some foreshadowing music in some spots. and also real life hit, and I've been very ill, and wasn't really able to corral it and get it to where I wanted it to be specifically for this episode, and it served the moment. It kind of served with the silence, and I am definitely one of those people that think that silence is just as important as the sound, right? If you if you know when people just talk and 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 talk, what they say has just less value, right? You need those pauses. Something I always tell my students is like, when you're playing music, you're speaking in complete, beautiful sentences.
Yeah.
If you're just rambling on and on and on, no one's gonna care. But if you like take a moment after a beautiful line, it gives people an actual invitation to digest what they just heard.
Yeah. I also think that, like, there was never going to be a whole bunch of music. There were, like, some more moments that we wanted to have. It was never going to be so much because we knew there was a lot of sound design happening, and we were like, to do, you know, these words and the sound design and a lot of musical cues, it felt like whatever. And I think kind of along with silence, restraint, when you learn that as an artist, I think that can elevate things. And I feel like the first instinct is always more, add, and to pull back away from that sometimes is really effective. And so, yeah, like when we were getting down to it, we were just like, well, what if we just did that there and didn't do anything else? I kind of also just have this is where I get a little woo-woo. I'm just like, whatever version releases into the world was the version that was supposed to release into the world. That's kind of how I feel about it. And so, like, I'm not trying to fight and resist all the time, because I'm just like, because what happens is it's what was supposed to happen, and I think it elevates it sometimes. So yeah, I think it worked. Plus, you know, that's how Dante was feeling. He was submerged. It was a very deafening silence, just him and his thoughts in the sea. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and speaking to that moment, that monologue was so powerful. And as you said, like, it was clearly pointed. And it had a clear direction and a clear message. For me personally, just about getting swallowed up in what you feel like you're drowning in and overcoming that. And, you know, given the state of the world that we're in right now, it felt like the perfect time for this episode to drop. Like, not only did, you know, Beyonce finally won Album of the Year yesterday, Kendrick won Record of the Year for Not Like Us, which, I mean, destroyed a man's career.
Doechii.
It feels like Doechii, which is crazy. And then before that, the world seemingly falling apart. It just felt really, really timely. My favorite quote from this episode, there were so many, like, again, the monologue, which is what I will take with me moving forward, is the only current I would ever fall prey to is the one of my own resolve. And I had to pause the recording and, like, really sit in that, because that hit me just in, like, life experiences over the last year. It was like, you are able to take the reins and fight and stand up and move forward and try. You can do all those things, and you don't have to sit in whatever is happening. I mean, sometimes it's good because you have to, you know, deal with your feelings and sit in them, but, like, you don't have to always do that. That doesn't always have to be the first choice. So I'm wondering if for both of you, does that have a similar significance to you? And did it hit you similarly, you know, when you heard it in the final cut?
I would say, yeah, it definitely hit me there. But if I can bring it to a silly place for a second.
Yeah.
When I was first listening to this and looking at the script, with my gills, I laughed once more, the sound carrying further than I had anticipated, that little moment.
Yeah.
I could not get the image out of my mind of The Incredibles. There's a scene in The Incredibles where the speedster, the little fast dude,
Dash.
Dash, he is about to get taken out by, like, one of those killer robots.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And he is about to hit water, and he doesn't know
If
that
he can run on
can't
water, right.
Yeah.
run on he doesn't know that he can run on water yet. And he, like, sits there for a second, and he's running, and he thinks he's dead, and he looks, and he just cackles because like behold my power, basically. And whenever I see that line or hear that line, I just picture Dash's little stupid face, like like I did it.
Yes. And like the emotion of that moment
Yeah.
is the same. It was the exact same. The fact that he was just like, I fought against the divine and won, and I was just like, one, again, the hubris, homie, you are 17. But also kind of like low key high key you did.
You're
So
not dead.
like you just survived.
Yeah. I think so this episode and the two monologues, kind of the one when the ship is going down and then once he's underwater. I recorded those so many times because it was one of those things of just like, I haven't acted in a while and I haven't had to act. It's one of those things where, like, as I was writing, I was just like, oh no, because I'm just like, I have to now do that, right?
Right.
It was just of like trying to make sure that I can deliver those moments. And I think whenever I'm performing them, I kind of do get swept up in it. And I think the parts that like do that for me are just the concept of the tenderness of drowning and why he doesn't want to go out that way is because that feels like acceptance. It feels like I'm literally just going to sit here and allow myself to be swallowed up by something. And, you know, Dante doesn't necessarily win that fight initially when he's underwater. He does swim, he does try, and then he does die. And I think the point of this, though, was the effort. It was you have a life and you have to fight for it. And it is hard, and there are horrible things that happen, and you run away sometimes, but you have to confront it and you have to push. And if you do all of that and it doesn't work, then okay, at least you tried. And I think it's about, can we put in the effort to save ourselves, to fight for the lives that we have, as imperfect as they might be. So yeah, I think that's the part that resonates with me about that one. And I wrote this because, you know, someone I knew was really struggling with that, and this was kind of my... When people are like navigating mental health issues, it's really tough sometimes to know what to say, right? And like to know like how to show up for you in this moment. And I think sometimes I hold back like my preachy, intense whatever because they just might need some care or gentleness or a hug or whatever. And so I feel like this is where I got to put some of that more intense, like, especially when he's saying those words where he's just like, I mean, not knowing my own words. When he's just like the move, swim, whatever, try. It's like that part is like, try, please.
Yeah. He said swim, float, move, try.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was super powerful. Getting a little bit deep, and we'll pop back out again, but there is something interesting to me about... I love that the theme through this story so far is finding a story worth telling and how your life and the things that you do are the story worth telling. But it's interesting to me how trauma becomes a story, and depending on your culture and your upbringing, it can be used against you, it can be used to uplift you, or it can be used as a joke. And so I'm interested to hear, like, what do you think is that moment when trauma becomes a story? Because it's clear that there was a moment within the drowning when Dante's trauma within the water became a story that he found worth telling.
Yeah. I think the other part of that scene is, what are the stories we tell ourselves? And I think that kind of dual voice that Dante hears, where there's one voice that's like, this is the story of your life. You're in pain, you run away, you're a coward, blah, blah, blah. And if he had believed that story, if he had believed the story of his trauma, then he wouldn't have fought. But then, you know, the other part, wherever it came from in him, that was just like, no, that's not your story. Your story is you experienced these things, but you didn't necessarily leave to run. You also left, or even if part of that is true, you also ran to explore, to discover, to find, to tap into. And so I think more dangerous is when our traumas become the total story that we tell about ourselves and the total way that we understand ourselves. I think that's really dangerous. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I don't know why I'm feeling silly today, but
But also, yeah.
But also,
but also, there's a meme that I've just been like dying around. I'm Dominican, for those of y'all who don't know, and there's a meme going around being like, Dominicans will tell you the craziest, most traumatic shit, and then be like, pero todo con Dios, like, but everything with God, we're
Yeah.
cool, and then and they just like walk off, and you're like,
Yeah.
what? Like, what do
Yeah.
you mean?
yep.
I think at a certain point, how you only have control over how you respond to certain things, and it's totally understandable for you to need to heal, to retreat, et cetera, et cetera. And for some people, the response is to move forward. And I think that is what Dante chose to. He chose to move. He's going to have to deal with that at some
He
point.
will at some point.
Right. And I think we all have a tendency. I won't say we all. I know I have a tendency to just like put everything in a little ball of pain corner over there and just like kind of move forward, which is not good, and is definitely indicative of like machismo and like all the ways we condition ourselves, right? But sometimes you got to move forward, and I respect that. I also understand that that's not the healthiest way to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's not in his healthiest place and his healthiest version. So yeah, I think there's a big old ball of mess, because in some ways, like, he's moving forward, and he's moving forward, but I don't think he's moving through. And there's a little bit of a difference, and I don't even think that he fully understands the difference. But yeah,
Yep. And I mean, again, I'm just gonna say he is 17.
right.
So, he doesn't even know he wants to eat tomorrow if he eats tomorrow. So, you know, this is a really important question to me. So please take this seriously. I love D&D. If you know me, you know that I love D&D. If I'm gonna do anything, I'm gonna watch D&D. I'm gonna talk about D&D with whoever will listen, and I will try to force you to watch D&D via your interests because I'm kind. That being said, I love a magical item as a plot device and a growth of character. And I remember specifically, Jay, when I asked you if I could use Dante when I did I DM'd my first Kids on Brooms one shot, and you mentioned he isn't magical, so like he doesn't do magic, but and I was like, okay, how can I bring him into this world? Because Dante would be an amazing professor at this imaginary, school that I made. And you said, or I said, one of us were just like, okay, well, we can give him a ring. And with that ring, he has access to magic. And, clearly through the story, we learned that it's generational and it's meant for support and not violence. Did you steal my idea? Or is this because you have a favorite lion ring that you wear all the time?
What a great question.
You're welcome.
I did not steal your idea, unfortunately. I did not plagiarize, because there always needed to be a device to get Dante from where he was to where he's going. And so the ring was my answer to that. And we find out a little bit more about the ring in the future. But yeah, like, I don't know. I love magic ring. I love magic jewelry. Again, this whole series was inspired over 18 years ago by a walk I would take to school. And there's just this like statue on the northeastern campus that to me looks like an amulet. And I would just always imagine like wearing it around my neck and like drawing power from that amulet. So and the rings I'm literally wearing. So I have a thing for magic jewelry. So that's that. But no, I didn't steal it from you.
Sure. Okay. No, that's fine. I will ask again in like 4 episodes. We'll see if your answer remains the same. Okay. My last serious question is gills. He had gills. First of all, is Dante a merman? Okay, that's my first question. Secondly, is that why One Night in Atlantis was in Atlantis? Secondly, will we get to learn how the ring got passed down to Deny, and did it help Deny with all of her feelings about water? Because I see what you did there. We had Deny's experience with water first, and then we had Dante drowning within what? Water.
As
I'm
opposed to
picking
what
up
else
what
would he drown in? What else would he drown in?
Sorrows.
Okay,
magma, feelings, tears,
that's true. That's fair.
Liquid.
leaves, liquid.
So funny. Repeat the questions again.
Okay, so Gills, is Dante a mermaid,
Is he
man?
a merman?
Okay.
Mermaid.
Is that why One Night in Atlantis was in Atlantis?
Got it.
And will we, or no, there's two more questions. Will we get to learn how the ring was passed down to Deny, and did it help Deny about her feelings about the water? You can answer that in any order you want.
Sure. Dante is transformed into a unique being that can navigate the sea. So I would not say that he becomes necessarily one of the pre-existing denizen type things that exist in the sea. It's something unique to him and his body. So that's that one. Two, the episode ends with Dante going somewhere down. And, I feel like it might be in the season description, so it's not something crazy. He is headed someplace. And I would say that One Night in Atlantis isn't random. It's not
I would sure hope
random.
not.
So
Could you imagine? It was just like, we'll just do this underwater.
right. I couldn't do one night in like fucking Sycorax or something. So I was like, I got to do something identifiable. No. So yes, Atlantis was not random for the branding. As I mentioned, we're going to learn a little bit about that ring and what it do in 3, 4, and 7. But I would largely say it's like he said, it's a family ancestral thing that's passed down. And we'll know how it got introduced into his ancestry. That's a thing that we'll discover. And we will get some answers around who in his ancestry might have, had a moment with it. So yeah, that's what I'll say about that.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that he is either a part of the Talakan or he's Mermaid Boy.
Hilarious.
Shout out to Allison and Jim Jim. They know who that is.
Okay.
Or Mermaid Man. One of the two. They know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
SpongeBob. Well, those were all of my serious questions. So now I have a little mini game that I want us to play that I feel like it'll be a good time. Be super quick. We love in the community, the Black community, because it's Black History Month, a good celebrity casting. Okay. And we've already met a few people. All right. I'm going to name a character, and I want you to tell me, who do you want to manifest, because this will become a movie because I'm manifesting it right now. Who's going to play it? Who's the celebrity that will play that character? As we know, Ron Cephas Jones, rest his beautiful, beautiful soul, is the dad. I'm just going to go ahead and make that canon. So, the first character is Nico.
This is so hard to talk about because
You're welcome.
I just feel like I'm always like editing. Child, I don't know. I don't know. Listen, you know what I'm gonna say, and this is gonna be very unfun. So Miguel, you're gonna have to fun it up a little bit.
Dang.
By and large, like a lot of writers, it's helpful for them when they have actors that they're writing for in their mind when they fan cast. My version of that is my cast. And my cast is very talented. And my cast could be in television and in movies. And so Largely, my answer is gonna be my peoples. When this gets adapted, my people's gonna be in there. I would not be Dante. I'll tell you that right now. I'd find another smaller role for myself. Maybe still do some voiceover work, some narration. But by and large, I'm gonna say my people. So the answer to that is Miko. Miko would be Nico.
Well, that's cheating.
I
Okay,
figured. Yeah, I
that's
figured.
cheating, and that is the easy way out. So I'm gonna let Miguel answer first to give you some more time because I'm a kind human.
Ooh, I really
But
tried.
then you gonna answer, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead, Miguel.
That's tough, bro.
So hard.
Yeah, because I'm bad with names too. I'm bad with names, like actors' names. Like I'm like, oh, that motherfucker. Like,
Well, you can name the show. We can also figure out and guess who this
I'm
is.
Siobhan is horribly bad at naming celebrities, and so the past like decade and a half has taught me very much how to like guess a celebrity or help her identify a celebrity based on things. So we've been sharpened
Yes.
over here to help you with this in particular.
Yes.
Nico.
This has become like a game within a game. Okay, I'll go first.
Thank you.
Hold on. What is the name of the show? Okay, hold on. It was a show that was on Disney Channel that they canceled because they're racist. So I'm going to say that. It was the all Asian cast,
On Disney
American
Plus.
Disney Plus. It was
I
like
know what you mean.
American
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
In my brain, the main lead guy from that,
Okay.
not the kid who was actually the monkey. The main lead,
Yeah.
in my opinion, would play Nico.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, for sure I could see that. Like Homecoming? All American Homecoming? No, that's
No,
actually a show called All American Homecoming.
So
This one
Yeah.
is called All Americans or All
American Disney. Hold on.
something Chinese. It's all something Chinese.
No, not America. Come on, Google it. America, Disney.
We're very much giving Uncle and Auntie right now.
Isn't Michelle Yeoh in it?
She is. It's all something American born Chinese.
American born
Okay.
Chinese. Yes.
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 He can for sure
Yes,
do.
yes, yes.
I also. Oh yeah, I can't say anything. There's a reason why I'm struggling with this in particular, but I can't say why. So I'm just gonna shut up.
Oh, I believe his name is Ben Wong. Brilliant actor. Like he was so good in show. It's really sad the show got canceled,
I
but
know.
like
It was a very good
he
show.
was super good.
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, I could for sure see that. Yeah. Do you actually have someone you're thinking of, Miguel?
I'm Google searching for my life right now.
Okay, well, I will move on to the next character to keep it moving, and then we'll come back. Deny.
So one reference I gave Zakia for Deny was Eartha Kitt.
Yes.
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 Not here. Weirdly, I feel like it's not quite right because I think she's a little bit. Oh, you know what? A little bit Jennifer Lewis, maybe with like a streak of Cheryl Lee Ralph in there, just to like glamorize it and soften that
You,
that Jennifer
you took
Lewis.
mine because
Yeah.
I was going to definitely say Cheryl Lee Ralph for sure.
Both of those. Okay, I was thinking both of those, but I actually think a good through line for that is Loretta Devine, also
okay.
a dream girl, because it's the southern draw. It's like
Yeah.
the holding yourself with grace, but also the boy. If you don't move, like I'm imagining the chess game or the game.
No, I could see her for sure as well. See, I also want to say that this is hard for me because you are making a decision based off of 2 episodes.
I am.
I have to make these decisions based on everything I know, past, present, and future, about these characters. That makes it really
Sir,
hard
this-
and hard to like justify why I say
No, this is quick fire. This is quick
Okay.
fire. It's just off the top of your head. It's not even. Don't even have to go this deeply. Okay.
I could go Regina King.
like now or soon.
Okay.
Like now.
Regina King would be
right?
awesome.
Like
Yeah.
like sassy,
Oh,
sexy.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like you could picture all them husbands.
That's true.
You know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying?
That's true. And I do want to see Regina in more genre stuff. I mean, she did Watchmen, but I'm just like,
She was so
I listen. I want to see her in that fantasy sci-fi world a little bit more than she has been.
Yes, she would be so good. So stinking good.
I love Regina King. Yeah.
Okay. Stacy. Which, of course, it has to be Kira because it's Kira. But also, I was thinking of, oh my gosh. She plays the lead in the remake of She's Gotta Have It. I think her name is Dawanda.
DeWanda Wise in the remake of what?
She's Gotta Have
She's
It.
gotta have it. Yeah, DeWanda
Yeah.
Wise.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I like that. Just to like, I could also see like a Jennifer Coolidge. Her take on a Stacy, I think would be hilarious.
No,
Want the
not
doc
Jennifer
reports for
Coolidge.
your dad? Oh wow!
Oh, that's perfect.
I love
That's
that.
it right there.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Or also, who would be super fun? Oh gosh, I don't know her last name, but her first name is Danielle.
Danielle Deadweiler.
Is it Deb Weiler? The lady
Well, which one are
who's
you talking
on she's on the show Ghost as like a singer.
Oh no,
But
I know who you mean.
it starts with a P, I think her last
Pinnock.
name.
It's Pinnock.
Yes. I think it's her first name's Danielle Pinnock. She would be amazing as Stacey.
100%. I could see that too. Yeah. Yeah. This is fun. We'll keep doing this with, because we're getting what, like 6 or 7 new characters introduced next
Oh,
episode.
this will come up again, but my last person, well, I have 2 more, but I'll just stop here. Who would play? I don't remember the bully's name, but who would play the bully? Because that scene is so poignant.
Brennan McPherson. Who would play Brennan McPherson?
Oh, he's too old, but I feel like Brennan Lee Mulligan could do it.
I was literally thinking about Brennan. He'd be great.
Where
But he
where
is
he in
too
again?
old.
He's
Brennan
like
Lee
he's a dropout person. He's Dimension 20.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's the GM.
What I've been watching that like all. I was like, that name sounds so familiar. Why? Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'd be yeah.
He'd be great. He'd be great. But anyways, that's okay. We will bring it back once we have more characters, once we have a bigger cast, because Jay decided to cheat and be a cop out. I mean, we love the cast. We love the cast.
They're
They
so
made the
talented.
show.
I'm riding for my
they're
people.
honestly
Big,
too
mad,
talented.
So
They're too talented in
Yeah.
the best way.
And they're
But
also,
at the
like-
same time, they're the cop out.
movie star gorgeous too. Weirdly, so
Yes. No.
it would work.
It,
Yeah.
it is a very attractive cast. So, yeah,
A wealth of
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like, I'm already seeing them. I'm manifesting a lot of things for you. I'm just like, this is going to be like a Comic-Con, and you guys have a panel, and people are hype about it. So that's just my dreams.
I receive it all.
But thank you, everyone, for listening to the second episode of the Dante Diaries. Do you all have any final thoughts? What is that, sir? A ruler in your hand? What are you carrying? A weapon?
I'm at my
Okay.
desk. And I
Okay.
have a lot of just random.
Sorry, everyone.
Wow.
I got sidetracked.
Don't judge me.
Any final thoughts?
I'll let Miguel go first. Well, I think.
The small bit of music that is in this episode is some of my favorite music that I've written for the entire project. So like the magic theme in its entirety is featured during that monologue that we've been talking about, and I think it's the proudest. Like it's the thing that I'm like, yeah, I did that. So I'm really happy with where that is, and I was happy to bring that to y'all.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Try. I think, this was for sure written for more of a micro experience of looking at the personal and kind of the individual issues that we wrestle with, but I think I've worked really hard to keep a part of my art optimistic and hopeful. And I think in the midst of hell, um, to not just lie down and accept what's happening and to keep calling out what's happening and to not only fight against it, but also, I think sometimes I've had this experience that when you're in your dark place, you think that the dark place is all there is, right? And you feel like it's all there is and it's all there will ever be. And then sometimes when you're out of that dark place and you look back, you go, whoa, like that me would never have believed that like I could be where I am now or that I have that experience that I had. And Dante is leaving a very traumatic, dark, horrible experience to begin something and find something magical and wonderful. And so just, I think, not only fighting through those difficult moments, but also really remembering and knowing that this moment is a moment and that there will be other moments that will be different and will be joyful and will be brighter. That nothing is permanent, everything is temporary. And so, yeah, yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yes. And as I've said before, and I will say it every episode because I get used to it, remember that as listeners of Dante's stories, you are now among a community of adventurers and story seekers. As you move through the world, remember that you do not have to fall prey to the wave of all the news, work, emotions, and experiences that is surely rolling over you and within you. Throw yourself against them and swim, float, move, try. You are one of one. I know that it's hard in today's world, but you are never alone. Take a moment to look around you and search for the magic. Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month!
Yes. Adere est facere. And so we dare, and so we do.
Amen. Amen. Okay, Pastor. Evangelist Patrick. Bishop.